The deaths of 53 migrants in an abandoned semi-truck in San Antonio, Texas last week is just one of many cases around the world where people who are looking for a better life for their families meet a bitter end. According to the migration data portal, since 2014, over 4,000 fatalities have been recorded on migratory routes worldwide. However, these numbers represent a minimum estimate, as most migrant deaths go unrecorded. To add to this, the global refugee crisis has seen 100 million people around the world being forced to flee their homes. This according to the UNHCR. Well, amid all this displacement, what role can Canada take to help? And is it realistic to think we can support these crises? Well, joining us now to talk more on Canada's role amid rising migration and refugee rates around the world is the Honourable Bob Rae, Canada's ambassador to the United Nations. Ambassador Rae, welcome back to Forum Daily.
Thank you so much. Good to be with you.
Good to see you again, sir. Now, I want to start off with a recent contribution you made in the Globe and Mail. In it, you spoke on the changing climate in the world and how the displacement of people may become the norm. So what sort of moral obligation does Canada have to help?
Well, I think the key word is help. We're not going to be able to solve the issue by ourselves. It's much bigger than us. But we have to be part of the solution. And I think that's where we have some real credibility in the past in helping to resolve conflicts, responding to climate change, and also showing that we're open to accepting people from around the world to become Canadian citizens, which is, I think, very much now part of Canada's whole approach to the global community, which I think is a very important example.
Now, we know the war in Ukraine is only adding to conflict seen around the world and the displacement of people. So is it realistic for Canada to play, as you say, a helping hand in all of these conflicts?
Well, and I don't only think it's not only realistic, Nima, I think it's also is essential. Stressing the point, the two-way point, really, that there's a lot more that we can do and need to do to make sure that our approach is generous and fair. And secondly, to reinforce for Canadians the fact that not all the solution involves Canada simply taking people in. It also involves finding solutions to the crisis. So we're trying to find a solution to the crisis in Ukraine, which has been caused by Russian aggression. And we have to keep trying to do that.
And to add to that, you mentioned in your post in the Globe and Mail that we have some important choices to make in shaping the future amid a world, as you say, is contested up for grabs. So what sorts of choices will we need to make in the near future?
Well, I think there's two. One of them is, are we prepared to remain committed to an open approach to both refugees and immigration? I think we should, personally. That's my view. I think most Canadians feel that way. Our record has been really quite extraordinary over the last 50 years in accepting people from around the world. But the second issue is this global crisis, which is climate change, COVID, conflict, is one that requires continuing participation and engagement by Canada, which frankly means money. We have to be prepared to really assist in the global effort to deal with the extent of this crisis.
And bringing this back home, we know Canada is a country that prides itself in its multiculturalism and many immigrant citizens. But what sort of role can migrants and refugees play in helping build our country?
Well, historically, they've played a very key role. We've made it a policy over the last several decades of accepting people. I can remember as a kid in school, when the first Hungarian refugees came out of the invasion of Russia against Hungary in 1956. I think all of us can remember well the Vietnamese boat crisis in the 1980s, when a conservative government actually led the way in seeing that 50,000 Vietnamese boat people were accepted in Canada. At the time, that seemed like an extraordinary effort, but frankly, it's come to be a tradition. The Syrian refugee situation, the current Afghan situation, the situation involving the Ukrainian people, we've responded well. And I think we need to keep responding well because it makes a huge difference to allowing our country to continue to grow and to succeed. All the evidence is that refugees, migrants, immigrants all play a key role in strengthening the fabric of Canada.
Ambassador Rae, thank you again for another important conversation.
Thank you so much, Nima. Good to be with you. Thank you. Good to talk.
Hope to see you again, sir. Thank you.